This is for Mr. T. Lee and anyone else that will find us useful. So we're just going to talk a few things about the bass before we get started. Just some reference terminology, very basic stuff, but I was asked to start very basic, so here we go. So just with playing the bass, if we say go down, it's going this way because the notes go low. And if you go up, this way it's going up, the notes are higher. As far as hearing, it's pretty common sense, practical, but technically this is pointed up, but even though it's pointing up, it's going down. And this way is up, and this way is down, going low to high, going up, going back down. And a couple other things we're going to be discussing and talking with is using whole steps and half steps. A half step is any two notes that are touching. For example, this note and this note. Those two are together. That is a half step. Half step up and half step down would be. Now another thing we're going to be doing is talking in whole steps, which is playing a note, skipping a note, and then playing the next note. So this would be a whole step up. And then whole step down. Okay, so that's some talking we're going to be using. And another thing is when you play with your left hand on the note, we will be playing slightly behind the frets, which are these metal guys right here, all up and down the bass. And if you have dots, typically you have dots on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, and then it keeps going up. So we'll play on the A string, which is the 2nd thickest string, on the 3rd fret. So this will be the 3rd fret, and we'll play slightly behind it. Is ideal. There's a little bit of room for error, but ideally you want it pretty close to the fret, not too close because you might get some buzzing, or play on the next note, and if you get too far behind, same thing, you can get some buzzing or even playing the next note. Okay, so now that we've got that taken care of, here's a couple exercises to get you started, get used to comfortable, get your hand comfortable playing. And one thing, and I believe I showed Mr. Lee this Wednesday, the other day, is stretching your fingers. And you can take it from the top of the neck, which is thinner, and then stretch it down as the neck gets wider. So you want to do that unless it hurts too much. You don't want to hurt your fingers, but stretch them out a little bit. If you're not used to reaching, this will help get them stretched a little bit. And we should be good to go. Get them nice and loose. You don't want to play too stiff. You want to be nice and relaxed. Naturally sitting up nice and straight. You don't want to be too slouched over. You don't want to have back problems. And so just nice and easy. We can stretch, nice and relaxed. And we're going to start with something simple, just going up in half steps using each of our 4 fingers that we'll be using on the neck, and minus the thumb. The thumb will be behind the neck, kind of as a guide and support for the hand. So our fingers will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and each finger will get a fret. And we're going to start on the 7th fret and work our way up. And we'll be playing in this range right here from the 7th fret all the way up to the 12th fret. And it's simply going to go in half steps up. We'll start on the E string, the lowest string, simply going the next fret, the next fret, the next fret, until you use all 4 fingers. So it'll just be 4 frets, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we will play on the next string, 7, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we get all the way to that G string, we'll run out of strings, we'll move everything up a half step, and then play that again, and then back down this time, back down as far as the going lower on the strings, and then we'll go up one more time, pinky is at the 12th fret. Then once we get all the way up to the 12th fret, then we will reverse it. Do the same thing pretty much just in reverse. Move them down a fret. Then we're back where we started. So a couple of things to keep in mind with this exercise is you want to keep your fingers close to the fretboard after you play each note. You don't want to play a note, then get your finger way out there. It's just wasting a bunch of energy. You want to keep it nice and close to the fretboard, and it'll be smooth. Your fingers will be very close, very accessible for the next note. And also, take it very slow when you're starting out, just nice and slow. If you have, the best thing to do is if you have a metronome or a beat or some kind of drum machine, some kind of loop, play with that. That'll help with your timing, keep everything nice and fluid and just smooth. And I'll give you a quick demonstration of what you'll be doing all the way through. Try to go all the way up and then all the way down without stopping, such as this. Like that, and that will improve your playing. And then a couple other things to keep in mind too when you are playing is what's nice about leaving your fingers close to the fretboard and even kind of on the strings is that they deaden the other strings, so you don't get a bunch of strings ringing out. So like these, you can't really hear those. If I didn't have this finger touching them, it'd get all those strings ringing out. But now you can kind of mute them because you don't want it to sound like with all the strings ringing out. Unless you're going for a nice or not so nice sound. Excuse me, I just had almost had some company come in my room. And also on my right hand, what I was doing was placing my thumb on the pickup, and then as I worked my way down or up with the strings, the higher strings, I'd move my thumb to the E string, which deadens that, so that's not ringing out. And also, a lot of times I'll use my third finger, let that one, maybe the pinky even. I don't really think I use the pinky too much, but you can kind of rest on the other strings to kind of keep them muted and so they're not ringing out. And quick little groove that we can play that's a little bit more exciting than just going up in half steps is what we'll do is we'll play on the C on the 3rd fret. This will be our first note, and our second note will be the 5th fret on the E string, which is A, and then our 5th fret on the A string, which is D, would be our 3rd note. And then our last note will be on the 3rd fret, E string, which is G. So it will be C, A, D, G. Now what we're going to do is play 2 times twice on each note. For example, one thing we can do is we can walk up to the A, chromatic or in half steps, from G, and then also to the D, and then back down from A to G. And then we can go even to the C, we can go D, C, just like our nation's capital. So for example, mix it up. You can use all kinds of approaches. You can